Hi, good to see you again. And I'm just sitting here editing our next video and wanted to tell you what we're doing and why we need your help. So we're working on one last space in our guest house, and well, the me that recorded earlier is going to tell you a little bit about it, but that's what's on today's video, figuring out what to do next, but we need your help. All right, this is our project for you. You guys get to help. This is our part of our guest house. We're looking out of the back through the bedroom. The bedroom starts just a little bit before that window. But what we're really here for is, what are we doing here? Is this going to become a room, or is this going to become an alcove? And we want you all to weigh in. So let's get you a better view of this and get into this corner. Okay. So Matt, are you okay? Matt's running into this wire thing, which caught me earlier and took my shoe off weirdly. I don't know how I managed to do that. Okay, so this corner, we're starting at this little spot here and on, is going to be, well, we're calling it the sleep study right now. It's a small room. It will barely fit a single, and we're trying to decide if we want to try to figure out a way to fit a double in there. We know we can't fit a double in the bedroom, right?
Not as like a bedroom, typical bedroom layout.
It's a little tight. It's a little tight. So do we make it a single room, or do we try to figure out how to do a double? And our idea for the double is basically creating from here over a like bed alcove. So we wouldn't come all the way out to where we would put a wall, which is, sorry, I'm making it all wonky, where this door would stop. Instead, we would make sort of a little raised bed alcove. And the purpose for that, Matt, how would you explain the purpose?
I think we're just trying to create something that, is sort of a luxurious little nook that you can,
for when nobody's here, like that we could use.
It's still like a nice looking and attractive place, whether somebody needs to stay in a bed here or not, because most of the year, there's probably nobody sleeping in the bed.
Exactly. All right, let's back up again without knocking ourselves into, Matt, you're gonna make sure I don't fall into a hole, right?
Yes.
Okay, so, so we're gonna sketch up some ideas, some thoughts, but we would love for you to tell us. So the first thing is what do you think? Would you rather, if you were coming here to stay and you were guests of ours before we move into the main house, or you're guests of somebody who was renting this, or I don't know, you're the 7-year-old child of the people who are renting this, or whatever, and that's going to be your bed, would you rather have a closed bedroom, small, that would just fit a single? We're going to show you pictures, floor plans of what this would look like. Or would you rather have a cozy little nook? And I guess also, if you were renting this, or you were staying in the space and you were in the main bedroom, and you don't need this room because you have another bed in the bedroom, would you prefer this to be a room that you could use somehow? Or
like an office, or
an extra office, or a yoga space, I don't know, whatever you might want, but you need it to be basically set up as a room. Or would you prefer to have a little nook? And we're gonna, again, draw some pictures up of like what we're thinking for you to comment on. Or would you rather have this like little space where, you could sit and read a book, you could curl up on a day that it was rainy and listen to the rain outside the window. You could look into the garden. Let's give you a shot. You could be just sitting in here up against this, because we would raise it all up. And we'll figure out a way to make it private. For sure, this little nook would have curtains that would shut, but we're also thinking of a door option, like a wall that slides, or panels. Yeah. So these are the things we need help with, guys. And so many of you have given us so many good ideas. We won't be able to use all of them, but we're hoping you guys are the secret to solving this little dilemma. And, if you're nerds like us, you'll get to, contribute. And hey, bonus points if you want to email us. We'll put our email in the comments if you want to email your own plans. Maybe we can even make it a screenshot here of the floor plan so you can play around with it. All right, that is your mission if you choose to accept it.
The small bedroom conundrum.
Exactly.
So I want to start with some photos we have from Pinterest. One of the thoughts we had at first was to sort of figure out a way to put bunk beds in here. Ideally, we thought we don't need 2 beds in here. So this idea we moved past. We mentioned we're thinking of like some kind of closing doors. So we've considered something like sliding wall bookshelves. Still trying to figure out if that's an option. But we like the look of this. And here are 2 pictures we have of sort of just like the beautiful nook. It's really more of like a bed on the right and a nook on the left, but we liked the way there was sort of a space in between the bed for the curtain. I'm really attracted to the brightness of these guys and sort of the real comfy nook feeling of these. These are really singing to me right now. We'll see if that carries on. These 2 both incorporate glass. I like the glass doors on the left. I don't think somebody staying with us would want people to be able to look in. We do want to give this privacy, but that doesn't mean that we couldn't have glass with curtains too. So that's another option to consider. And then these 2 are helping me think about how it might look if we incorporated a desk. So it's long and skinny, and there'll be extra space that we could use, and this might be just the solution. And these are 2 more sort of just nook cozy places. I think the one on the left feels a little more casual and less bed-like. It might feel a little weird, but it's still pretty cozy. Love the one on the right too. And then these were the first ones I saw. What I love about these guys is this, I don't know. Now, granted, we don't have a big window like this, so I think I'm attracted to the window. But I like the bottom right. It feels cozy. It feels separated. It feels architectural. Speaking of architectural, also trying to decide, do we do pull-out drawers? What do we do if we want to have like a little wardrobe? I love the ceiling idea. So many options. But what we really need to do is sort of figure out a way to wrap our head around the space. We can't like stand far enough away from it to really absorb it all. And it's a very tall space. It's, I think, 3.1 meters. So I did a whole bunch of measurements, what a seat height should be, what a desk height should be, what a bed height should what mattress height should be, all that stuff. Matt printed out the floor plan. Those lines are 10 centimeter grids, so I can use that in a minute to create. You can see I made a little tape measure, that's not a tape measure, a ruler on the side at this scale. And guys, I'm just tacking up a shipping box with a Sharpie. I'm not really even using a straight edge on this. Also, you will notice as we go along that X-Acto blade needs to be replaced. I have all these tools, and unfortunately, I think they're all in the last box in the furthest corner of our storage, so I haven't made it into them yet. Eventually, one day. And what I'm doing, I've cut out both a single and a queen size bed. Here, I'm cutting out a little chair. Because still, like, a rectangle doesn't give you scale, or for me, it doesn't. I really needed to see something more than a bed. And I'm going to basically, I think here I'm making a bottom for the queen. I was just going to interchange the bottom for the queen and the single, but, oh, maybe I'm making the single one here. I make the queen one in a minute. There we go. And what I want to do is be able to play with these shapes, these size beds in the room as it stands at scale. Guys, it took me like a few pieces of tape and leftover cardboard. You can really do this. If you have a scale ruler, that's good. If not, you just need to figure out what scale you're cutting these things at. If you have an architect you're working with, they can help you understand what your scale is, and you can use a regular ruler. I'm not going to go into that here because it's confusing, but your architect will be able to help you. So I'm putting these together. I've got the wall with the window, so I can start seeing this. We'd really like to be able to fit a little desk area in there because one of us is going to work in this room. And so I'm working through, do we want a queen? Do we want a single? A queen fills the space better. And by the way, these are not US queen and singles. This is Italian size beds. So and I'm trying to decide if we want a dividing wall in there, but it feels like once we get to the size of a queen, it's like a really long, deep space. It just, even though it's a meter wide, which should be fine for a desk, 39-ish inches, it feels a little claustrophobic. So I'm just not sure. I'm going to make here, I think, the wall for just the single bed. It's a little better because it feels more square, but the room space is actually smaller there. I'm just wondering exactly what I want to do here. Right now, I'm working on cutting out a couple options for the wall that would actually have the opening in it for the nook and the side walls. It's coming together. I feel like a builder today. Jenn the builder. Not pretty from the back. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. Do you guys like this kind of thing? And, hold on till the end. I've got some sketches of this once we kind of made a design decision. I'll walk you through what our decision was as this goes along. But, stick around because I am happy to sort of show you that video of an overlay drawing. So you kind of go from teeny tiny to like full size. Start with a sharp X-Acto. That would be my hint if you want to do this. And so I'm trying to figure out what this feels like. Can we have a door on one side? And then, so my idea here is that we have this little sliding, almost like a parson's desk that can slide all the way to the end of the bed. And we're going to go slower in just a second. And then it can be the desk if nobody's using the bed. But if you want to like sit in the nook, you can scoot it down and it can sort of be like a little side table for you as well. The little piece I've attached to the back wall there, my idea is that there's like a little rail and it slides back and forth on this little rail in the back and the rail of the what's holding the mattress on the front. Now, okay, so now you're going to get to see, I'm trying to make both the single bed and the queen bed. Now we're going regular, normal speed. You can sort of see what this looks like. It's like Butterfingers. And when that desk goes all the way down to the end, you can see how that would ride. There we go. Look at me demonstrating. Would ride along that rail, and then there's a rail on the front side, which would sort of rest along the edge of the bed. I forgot that I did that. Excellent. Sometimes I'm so smart. So this would sit a little higher, but the idea is that the chair would sit in there. This would be more for somebody who's coming in and would like to use it as a bed and as a little office, but you can also just move the bed to the side. You can see me moving the table down. So if you wanted to sit in there and have like a little cup of tea, it would work better if it wasn't made out of cardboard, but I think you get the idea here. And now I kind of want to try it out with the queen size. So the base of this, the main base of the cardboard is just a piece that I'm attaching everything to, but the floor that sits on top of it is the size the room would be if it was going to be closed in as a room. So you can see the queen gives us a nice long desk and it gives us a bigger bed, but it really takes up most of that room, which would mean you kind of enter it off of a narrow hallway. And also then we started thinking, it feels weird to like say this is a nook if it's a queen size bed because it's so big. So if you wanted to like go in and lean against some pillows by the window, you'd have to scoot a long way to make that happen. So we'd love to hear what you guys think. But for us, all of a sudden, that queen that was really what I thought we were going to go with is turning into, that feels like awkward sizing. It doesn't give us the sort of feel from the outside. I'm just like, just tweaking things here. But ultimately, I think we've decided that we want to go with with you can see the little door open. I don't know how the door should be, guys. If you like this design, let me know what you think about the door. Other things we thought of, that the opening should come down a little bit. The opening is way too high to feel like a cozy little cave-like nook. So we sat on the edges of beds and measured a bunch and figured that one out. Here we go. And then we don't know, should the door swing open? Should it be sort of invisible? Should it look like cabinets that you open up and then you can go in there? If somebody's just staying in there, they can take that little table off and use the space at the foot of the bed to actually get dressed in privacy. Do we do curtains on this? Do we put shutters on it, doors on it? What else do we do? But I think we've settled on the single, and we're liking this sort of idea of having this desk that you can pull up on you, so you know it doesn't feel too claustrophobic, because you can push it away when you want to stand up. You have this extra little piece, and if you're just using it as a dressing table, you can just put the little chair in there and get dressed in that space too. I don't know. What do you guys think? This again is what it looks like. So again, we think we should lower the top end. We think maybe we should connect it across the bottom to maybe put a drawer in the bottom. The idea being that if you wanted to work in the space above it, you could. Now, here is our rendering. Again, I'm doing this on my iPad in a software called Procreate. I go back and forth as I build everything out, building the little desk part, throwing in some pillows, a little night light, maybe some wood floor. The white wall on the right, that's the wall to the bedroom. There's a door on there, which we'll pop in a second. And we'll pause here so you can just take a look at it. So you can see with the single, we have a bigger hallway to sort of look in on. If we wanted to, we could take the chair out of inside and set it in front of the door that opens in there when that's not being used, just as a little decorative piece. We could even use that drawer for a pull-out bed. We could either put another mattress in there, which would fill the space a lot, or if we wanted to use that space for something else, we could move the mattress underneath, and it can be a little yoga space instead for somebody, making it really flexible. So what do you think? What are your thoughts? What would you do for doors? What would you do for the drawers? Would you put shutters on this? Would you do just curtains? We are seriously looking for your help and your feedback. You can leave it in the comments. You can screenshot the floor plan earlier. You can draw us up stuff. You can just tell us things, and feel free to build on other people's ideas in the comments as well. We're really excited to see what kind of creative ideas you can come up with. If you agree on the bed nook idea here, and if you don't be afraid to tell us what you do instead. And as always, if you like this video, if you want to follow along, please feel free to subscribe, share it with your friends. You got an architect friend who would like to weigh in, send it to them. We'd love to have everybody's input. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you next time.